Welcome to another episode of Global Green Action Project, a place where we get to meet amazing heroes doing great changes in the world to make it a more compassionate, kinder place through humanitarian, animal, and environmental initiatives. I'm your host, Jennifer, and today we get to meet another amazing guest speaker, and we're going to discuss the importance of forgiveness and discuss strategies to support our children and youth to help them live their most resilient and happy life. Our guest today is the incredible Brenda Adelman. She is an international speaker and actress known throughout the world for her one-woman show that has won many awards. She is also a forgiveness and resiliency coach, helping global families heal through storytelling. So, having said all that, it's now time to introduce you to the incredible Brenda Edelman now. I love the way you help youth and empower them. You talked about the feelings of suicide and the feelings of despair, and unfortunately this is a reality with our youth. This is a reality in our rampant in global society, and we need to be real. We need to be able to talk the real talk so that we can help our youth and let them know that these are challenges that are not only just individual, that many people face this. And by hearing other people's stories, we have hope. We have ways to overcome these feelings, these emotions, and know that we're not alone. You mentioned that you overcame these challenges. If I were to ask you, how could we help a youth listening to your story right now in terms of 3 or maybe 4 quick strategies that could help them if they're feeling that overwhelm, that stress, and perhaps even feeling a sensation of despair? What would you recommend?
The first thing I would say is to get help from someone close to you. Be honest, especially if you're in a place of despair, because you don't want to be left alone in your head with that loop of depression, despair, and things going wrong. So as a youth, you really want to speak with someone older if you can. If someone in your immediate family can't help you, then I would talk to a friend, and sometimes a friend's family is more there for you than your family. The second thing would be to go to a counselor at school, because counselors are trained in this. Another thing would be literally like a fix would be, because you want to get out of your head and that endless negative loop, would be put on videos that are really funny, that are really uplifting, that can absolutely change your vibration, and kind of knock you out of that, again, that loop of negative thinking. Know that it's temporary, that eventually you'll move out of your family, you'll get away from those friends, and um, I would say there's an element of self-love for those youth who understand this. It would be also, you can Google search or on YouTube, be like, how do I love myself? Because some people feel really guilty. They've done something to hurt someone or themselves. That is not a time to be angry at yourself. That's a time to learn the lesson and love yourself even more deeply. Same thing with shame. Love yourself even more deeply. Learn the lesson so you don't repeat it, but love yourself even more deeply. What does that mean? Semantically, it could be something like, so it's forgiving yourself and loving yourself. I forgive. So here's an example. I mean, it's maybe, there's so many different things, but let's say you got into a fight and really hurt your friend's feelings because you were just so angry. You would say to yourself, I forgive myself for judging myself as out of control because I lashed out at my friend. The truth is, I was doing the best I could at the time. The truth is, I can love myself despite that. And everything happening for the highest good of all concerned. That would be like semantically something that you could say. Get a stuffed animal, get a toy, get something that feels like it's nurturing, so that you don't have to depend on someone else and you can just care for yourself. That's what I would say.
Thank you for bringing up some of those great strategies, because sometimes youth don't know where to turn to. They feel like they're alone. I mean, it doesn't matter how old we are, we have those times where we can feel alone.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really empowering to know that other people are going through it, as we've already mentioned. And then these quick strategies that they can do if they happen to be alone, to help really just snap out of that feeling of sadness or despair. So really great strategies to share. Thank you so much for that.
Welcome.
I'm wondering also, do you have a particular mission or project that you might be working on that we could support you further on? Perhaps you'd like to share that.
Well, I mean, my mission is to spread forgiveness for sure, with setting boundaries too, right? I forgave my father and also took him to court for wrongful death. So I didn't say, okay, you know, just keep doing what you're doing and it's no problem. And then I was just thinking about it. I got this last night that because I'm so like on a mission to help people tell their stories powerfully. And I realized that it's mission behind it is like spiritual awakening through storytelling. So I'm not sure how to have people help me yet with that, except spread my gospel, spread my ministry, because so much of what I teach is about healing from your story so that you can powerfully help others, help yourself and then help others, you know?
I think that ties into, once again, when we're speaking to our youth out there and even children, how to empower them to have an authentic voice when they're going through something. Any quick suggestions? I know it's not necessarily quick because it's a process, but any quick suggestions on how to empower our children and youth out there if they are reaching out or they want to reach out and share a story? Perhaps they're really shy or timid, or perhaps a trauma has happened and they're not quite sure how to approach it. We talked a little bit about some strategies about despair, which might tie in, but perhaps you have a few more strategies to suggest.
Um, I feel like I feel like there has to be a level of healing. I don't say people should just go out and share their story until they're healed, because I know I kind of shared before I was ready. And so it made me very, very depressed. I took time off. I went 2 years, got my in spiritual psychology. Like it was an arduous process. It was, doing that. I became a prayer chaplain in Unity Church. I went to an anger workshop. I got acupuncture. I did everything I needed to do to feel better. So I don't necessarily say go out and share your story before you're healthy and healed. I would say get the help you need from a therapist, from a coach, in a program, like mine, although I'm not teaching youth right now, but where you have the tools to heal, so that you're crafting your story at the same time as you're healing from your story, so that when you share, you're not taken off guard or someone says something and then you go to pieces. Like, you're strong in yourself, that when you're ready, you can share. The first step is telling your story for yourself and loving yourself through it.
Good information, because yeah, we might be wondering if we should share it and also who we should share it.
I have something to say on that too. So usually if you're thinking, should I share it? You should, because I get a lot of adults that are like, oh, I just don't know if I should, but I want to, but I shouldn't. And it's almost always that they're concerned about someone else, like above themselves. That's why they don't want to tell the story. They're stuck in a role. Now it's a little different with youth, because if you're still dependent on your family, then no, you don't want to open up a can. But when you're like 40, 50, like if you're not telling your story, and because I don't teach people to vilify anyone, I just tell them to tell the truth. So there's looking at, what's the reason you're telling your story. And then the thing is, with telling your story, and this is what I would tell adults too, is you want to be careful, because you want it to be with someone who is very, very supportive. And oftentimes we will think a relative will be supportive. And I've had people come to me after being completely shut down, say a sister who did live through it with them, but I'm very comfortable with emotions. I feel the healing takes place on the emotional level, and a lot of people aren't comfortable with that. So if they see you struggling and emotional, they'll not understand that's part of the process of healing. And so they'll kind of shut you down, not even like in a bad way, but like, oh, come on, let's go do this, go do that. And then all of a sudden your muse is like shut down. So you want to be really careful. That's why like a writing coach is really good, or someone you absolutely know is going to support you and know that the emotions you're moving through them to heal. They're not going to take you down.
Oh, some great points. Yes, because I've experienced that too. Sharing something with the wrong person can really just close you back down and shut you down. And then you're fearful to share it with anyone else. So that's
Exactly.
really, thank you for bringing that up. It's so, so important to, and be aware that if you're bringing it up to somebody and they do act that way, that they might not be coming, coming from a bad place. They're just not comfortable, and that's their stuff, right?
Right. That's their stuff. You don't have to change them either, but also you don't want to be doing that. You want to be really careful. And that's why I do so many healing through story programs, because I want people to like kind of be free to explore and have their emotions come up instead of like writing by themselves, and they share it. They're finally excited to share it and they get closed down.
So again, another really important reason why people can come to you and have this safe environment where they can explore their feelings and really get in touch, be very mindful of what they're feeling and where it comes from. Because a lot of times this is a subconscious thing. By the time they finally address it, they're being triggered, but some of the stuff might not even be recalled. Like it's so far back that they know it's still bothering them, but they're not making the connection of why it's affecting them on such a visceral level. So another great reason why we need to have that safe environment with a coach, with your expertise to be able to really explore that and heal in a safe manner and really explore the spiritual piece of it. I love the fact that you're tying that spiritual component in with the communication piece, because sometimes we only deal with communication and the way we talk with others, which is so important, but if we don't attach that spiritual component through healing of trauma, then we're really not addressing the core or the root of the problem. Would you agree?
I do agree. I absolutely agree. Hmm.